Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Welcome to the IFE meeting for June. One of the things that we're doing this time is we're actually going to try to do a video recording so that people who are in outlying areas actually are going to be able to watch the video and see the entire content of the IFE meeting instead of just reading through the notes. So when we're asking questions, make sure you speak nice and loud so that the microphone can pick it up. Welcome. Let's see, trying to think. This IFE meeting, we're doing a little bit different in structure. I think you're going to notice a difference. We're going to be far more organized, timely. Expectations of everybody who's here is that you're going to be an active participant. So there's some things that are going to happen during the IFE meeting that are going to require some feedback from everybody, so no more sleeping in the back. One note, just really quick. Who in here drives a company vehicle that has a big blazoned EC on the side? Those are rolling billboards. So if we're driving down the road and behaving in a fashion that is really not polite, nice, or dangerous, a certain percentage of the population are going to make phone call to the office and complain. For example, right before lunch, we got a phone call that one of our vehicles was driving down I-5. 2 occupants, eating, not paying attention, and dove into an off-ramp, cut somebody off, a pregnant lady. Not that that really matters, but she was pregnant. Very, very disappointed and upset, and that we cut her off, and she literally had to go on the shoulder and slam on her brakes in order to avoid a collision. Anytime we're driving, it's imperative that everybody, once again, no cell phone use, drive so that people are not going to be making phone calls to the office, because when they do call in, they always give the license plate number, and we go in the little database, and it doesn't take us but a couple of seconds to figure out who it is. Everyone in here has read the driver's policy for EC Company, and when you get phone calls like that, that actually will be point deduction based on the consequences or the circumstances involved. So make sure everybody knows, and that can impact your ability to drive, and how many of you in here could actually be gainfully employed with EC if you could not drive a company rig. It would impact a bunch of you. So just always bear that in mind. Always be polite. Drive like an old granny if you have to, just to make sure that you're being safe. For this meeting, I think first off we're going to start talking about incident reviews. You got to take the little camera thing off.
I did.
You should just be able to click.
It's up on this one.
Well, so much for an organized time event.
Yeah, no kidding. We're having, actually, if we get really stuck, we can have Matt come back up and wave his magic hands on it. Well, it shows it's changing here, but not there. Let's, we can just go to close presentation down and just start over. For incident reviews, we can actually go. I saw something.
Do you want cameras to go back there?
Yeah, there we go. And then that little guy.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yay. All right, so current incidents. This list actually has gotten much smaller than it has been in the past. Once again, I think it's a strong reflection of the commitment of everybody in the field to making sure that we're being safe.
Maybe you can blow it up so we can read it.
Yeah. Trying to fit it all on one slide. This is actually something that corporate provides. You'll see the one I did later where I actually redid the whole thing so that it is readable. Seattle Tech Systems, first aid. This actually happened a few weeks ago. One of our workers was doing some cable work in an HVAC. Whoa. There you go. Brushed a small plastic tube, chemical splashed into his face. I don't know what the heck it's called, but it's an injection tube that puts stuff into the water in an HVAC.
Chemical feed.
A chemical feed. They were supposed to have flushed the cables, but they did not. Worker brushed it, and the chemicals came out of the tube and sprayed in their face. Luckily, wearing safety glasses. The MSDS sheet on that thing is incredibly nasty. If they would have got that, a bunch of that directly in their eyes, it could have been incredibly bad. Very, very bad. Wearing the safety glasses, not wearing a face shield, didn't anticipate that we would have that chemical splashing out of a tube that should have been purged. We had somebody who cut their finger, just required first aid. But once again, small cables, and we talk about this a lot. If you're doing small cable terminations, take your gloves off. Well, this just they happened to brush their finger along the side of the case or the box, and it actually got a little cut. So they were able to fix that with a Band-Aid. Walking across core ply flooring. That was in a data center. Worker fell. The two panel pieces separated. Once again, I'm not incredibly familiar with that concept, but they had enough pieces open that the pieces could slide, and I guess one of them slid. Non-work related strain in neck, notice during stretching flex. Once again, doing the right thing, reported it to their foreman and said, hey, I got a real good kink in my neck. They put that individual into a position where they were working, where they were not going to be impacted and make their neck any worse. So, let's see, lifting tiles, pull wire, debris dropped into their left eye. This is actually a very common thing. If you're doing a lot of ceiling grid work, how often do you have stuff fall out of the ceiling when you're pulling the ceiling tiles down? All the time. We do have access to safety glasses that have a small foam piece that actually goes around the eyes. If you're doing that kind of work, trust me, it's a lot less expensive for us to buy those style of safety glasses for you to use when you're doing that than it would be to have you go to the doctor and have something removed from your eyes. So we have that available. We also have face shields. So anytime you're working overhead, you should have your face shield on, right? You're doing a rotohelmet or something. That's pretty much it for the list. I mean, it's very, very short and sweet. There were no OSHA recordables last month. Yay. Yay, yay. The Seattle office, if we don't count the hit and run accident that we had, we're actually almost at 11 months without a recordable, which is phenomenal. 9 months. 9 months. Yay. Yep. And the hit and run accident, I mean, hey, that's just, there's nothing that literally nothing that we could have done about that. When somebody crashes into the back of you and then flees the scene, there's nothing we can do about that. So, incredibly strong effort by everybody to get us to that position. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, everybody in here know Ryan Pontius? Oh, that's right. Oh, we got a special little quick presentation by Don Rutherford from out of Marymore. And we got the pictures if you want to walk up here without tripping over all my cords. Don wants you to talk about an incident we had in the field.
Hey, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Don, I didn't mean to interrupt, but could you find out why this incident didn't make the new miss list?
Yeah, just say it's not even on the
This
list.
one?
Yeah.
The reporting is for last month. This incident will be on next month's report.
We were installing a 2-inch and a 4-inch across the building pad to a utility room, knowing full well we had to cross the temporary crane power that we put in. I felt like a real idiot on this one. But anyway, we got to where the conduits were. The man in the ditch found the ditch tape and a conduit, not 4 conduits. Said it's 6 inches lower. So I put the bucket of the backhoe in the ground just to clean across the top of it so we could turn up or stub our pipes off. Well, the one scoop thing, or the last scoop, don't take it because it never works. The tooth of the bucket ends up piercing one of the 3 paralleled conduits. We knocked the crane out. He was able to reset, keep going because it was parallel. Turns out that, and I forgot this, but when we installed a 2.5-inch to feed a sub panel, crane power was here, the 2.5 started over here, we actually dove it down and went underneath, therefore leaving the other ones 6 inches higher than what we actually found. So the first mistake we made was we didn't find all the conduits before we kept digging. So this is what it looked like when we hit it. That's as far as we went. I didn't get the picture to Mike to put on here but we had red danger tape, signage, my phone number, everything all around this hole. Okay, so I tell the general, I tell Mike, we go through all the paperwork, everything's good, we're waiting for TSE to show up to shut the transformer down so we can make repairs. While we're doing this, we continued on doing other projects and other tasks. Myself and Mike Martin, who isn't here anymore, happened to look over in the hole where these cables are, just like that, and a laborer for Venture Construction who we're working for is down in the hole, went under our tape, down in the hole, and is physically digging at those cables with his fingers. Can you put that picture up there? This is what, go back please, Mike, before you can barely see it, and I mean standing right on top of it. I had to look to get that picture. Then, go ahead, Mike. This is what it was after he got down in there. Now, one of these cables was totally broken. The other one was skinned. He told us he wasn't touching it. First off, both Mike and I were yelling at the top of our lungs, get the hell out of our hole. He went through our red tape, he went through our signage. Nothing we could do about it. We had it done like we were supposed to do, but we looked down and here he is in the hole. Tells us he didn't touch it, so we walked over and took a picture. You can see the finger marks. Okay? So that became a big issue. This went from a near miss to where nobody, I myself, nor anybody working with me, the equipment, nothing was damaged other than the cable. Didn't hurt the crane. Nobody was injured. This went from a near miss to almost a fatality. And this kid, I don't think he really realized what he was doing until the next day when we got this shut down and was able to open it up and took him over there and explained to him and showed him how close he was, literally, from possibly being in a casket. So it wasn't a big issue until this happened. I mean, it was stupid on my part for hitting it, but the picture, like I said before, and what you see now, this almost got ugly. This almost got real ugly. He was reprimanded by Venture. He's still on the job. I'm really surprised that's all he got, but that's what he got. So I guess the moral of this story is you can do everything right, and especially since we always have open panels, we're always doing something that, yes, so he had his fingers right there. One end of this was live, one end wasn't, and there's another one skinned right there. Yeah, unbelievable. Couldn't believe he was down in there. It doesn't matter what we do, somebody, and I think what the problem was the superintendent asked him to go out and take pictures, but that's all he said. He didn't specify to him, go take pictures, but don't go through the tape and don't touch anything. So he's down in there clawing, and as you see in the picture, how close he came. We took him over there and we showed him this and explained to him, and he was pretty spooked. I actually think that he was thinking to himself, I might not have gone home to my wife last night. So, like I said, we did everything we were supposed to do as far as paperwork and safety and lockout, tag out, everything before we ever got down in here and touched this. But it just couldn't believe we saw that kid down in there.
Yeah. Hey Don, how long did it take for PSE to shut the transformer off that was feeding this?
They didn't get there till the next day because it had to stay like that overnight. So, but we're in a fenced-in area. We're in a fenced-in area, fenced-in locked area, and we had this all danger taped off. I have a picture of it where you can see the danger tape, but I didn't get it to Mike. The other moral of this story is always find every conduit, especially if you know what was there because you put it in. That's the dumbest thing. But, you know, I'm standing here telling you it was dumb. I did it. It was stupid. But to have the guy with the shovel find everything that's in the ground first. It's not worth, this cost way more than it would have taken 20 minutes for him to hand shovel this out. And we're digging in sand. Very easy digging. The last scoop, it never fails. The last scoop gets you every time, so don't take it. Find it with the shovel. Verify every conduit before you dig any further to avoid this right here. I wasn't digging fast. I put the bucket down. Unfortunately, I had a bucket with teeth on it, But I laid the bucket flat on the dirt and I was sliding it along and the tooth went right through the pipe and poof. That's what happened. So, like I said, this went from a near miss to almost a fatality.
So, Don, one thing, you and I talked about this a little bit right afterwards. One of the things that happens, especially in this case where you install things, you know how you installed it, you've got your vision of how it was put into the dirt. But everyone knows that now you take buckets of dirt and backfilling, and the positions of conduits can change. You can get them jump up a foot higher on one side than the other side. And I think part of this is the assumption that you have that conduits are still in the same way you installed them.
Exactly. We thought they were at the same level.
And during backfill, one of those conduits did jump up 6 inches or more. So,
Well, no, in this case, that, what he's saying is possible, yes, but in this case, because like I said in the beginning, I forgot that we had added another pipe, which is a sub-feed to a panel, for a temp power panel, and we actually dove it underneath the 3-inch because it had to cross. So we did it out there in the field where we happened to be digging. That's how the elevation change ended up being there. Once we opened it all up, Mike was there when we opened it up and had a visual of it, and he saw what we saw, but we found, unfortunately, we found the tape and the conduit that was clear to the other side of the ditch and lower. So that's where we made our mistake, because we didn't verify all the conduits that were there. And like I said in the beginning, being as we're the ones that put it in there, then to turn around and hit it is just stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Especially when the other contractor out there is digging around everything and haven't hit anything. So, yeah, I mean,
Except for the plumbing.
Except for the plumbing.
And our conduits.
Yeah. So, they did rip the plumbers out, stuff out, yes they did, so.
Having been on many PKS projects in my career, they have a very interesting process that they go through. So if you were to do something like this, and you take the top of the trench, that's still not enough. You have to rip plywood and put it into the trench to block all access, period, to the area that's been exposed. And it's not a bad, every time you find a utility that you don't know what it is, regardless, just like what happened to you, you've got this tape up, but Knucklehead General sends a guy down there to take pictures. We should make a policy that nobody, you just don't go down there.
Right.
I mean, well, I don't even understand why they would even ask them to go down there.
The problem with this was we had our tape 20 feet back on all 4 sides of this, and he went underneath of it.
Yeah.
20 feet.
But I'm saying, at PKS, if you run into a situation like this, you literally, as the state contractor, have to rip plywood and put it in the trench and paint it red.
Yeah.
And the red tape. So you have to block access to the trench for everybody at that point.
Yeah, well,
It's their policy.
who'd have thunk, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
exactly, I agree with what you're saying, but who'd have thought? You see a red danger tape and then a sign on it saying don't enter, and you enter anyway. I mean, I told the superintendent that I personally did something just as stupid back working at the Tacoma paper mill. I went under a piece of red tape. They didn't even talk to me. I was gone. I was gone that fast. And I told that superintendent that this is usually a firing offense, crossing red tape like that. And especially since we had signs on it stating stay out, energized cable, and he went in there and then got down in there with his hand and started pawing around it. That's the part that we couldn't believe. It's unbelievable. But luckily, I mean, for him, we got to scare him to death, but he didn't get killed. As I explained to him, had you gotten down in there and got between those 2 cables where you couldn't let go, and I explained to him how the hand works and all that stuff, I said there would have been nothing we could do because that's unfused from the transformer to the disconnect on the crane service. I said, best we could have done was try to get a 2x4 and try to knock you off of it, and hopefully we had that done before you were already gone. So fortunately for him, it didn't happen. So yeah, it was a bad deal all the way around. But like I say, a near miss went to real close to a possible major injury or even a fatality. Not anything that we did. So So that's what happened on this little deal, and like he says, you'll see that next month, but yeah, it was a trying day for me, myself, but, oops, don't do it again, but the biggest thing is, anytime you're digging around any utilities, as you can see, it's far cheaper for someone with a shovel to locate everything first, and then dig around it. Even if it's hard pan. I mean, I should have been able to fill that in the sand because it is all sand, but if you're digging in hard pan, I don't know how many of you in here have run machine and how much, but you get to where you can feel things in the ground. The thing that got me here was the fact that I had, one, the teeth laying flat, and two, I was sliding it across sand. I didn't feel it, but the tooth had already gone through the pipe before I even knew it was there.
So remember one thing, Don, 90% of all of our trenches we work in, we hire other contractors to do the digging. It isn't us doing the digging, but most of the time it's us standing in the ditch with the shovel. And it's just as responsible for our responsibility doesn't change depending upon who's under the backhoe.
No. No, I mean, the guy in the ditch can save a lot of money for a lot of people if he's just not afraid to run the shovel. And Mike was not afraid to run the shovel. As I said, we found the tape and we found the pipe. The tape was 6 inches above the pipe, but it was above one pipe, not 4 pipes. So that's how this happened. I can't stress enough, you have to locate everything with a shovel first. And I knew that. My mistake for not having him find them all. But from going off memory of what we put in and how it was, or how I thought it was, I didn't think we had an issue. I was wrong. Since then, we've gotten rid of in fact, that day we got rid of the bucket with teeth. We got a bucket with a flat plate on it. And now the policy is if you have to dig within 10 feet of any energized anything, Mike has to be there. And then there's a form that has to be filled out. We've done it twice now, it works fine. But you have to call Mike far in advance if you know you're going to do something like this, because as we all are, he's swamped too. But that's what's going on now. This is what happened here. Now you know the story behind what happened. So you know what not to do now.
You know, I think a really big takeaway here too is not necessarily this exact circumstance, but a lot of times we are working in panels. And even if we're wearing our arc flash gear and our PPE, it is still possible that we're going to have some, what they call incident exposure, non-qualified people that can gain access to bad things. So if we're working, and I've seen it a bunch of times throughout my career where people will open up a panel and then it's break time, so they put up a piece of red tape and they walk away. Never assume that these uneducated folks out there are not going to be interested in what's going on and go inside your zone. And then we have to try to explain to someone why somebody died touching things that belong to us. So always make sure that the non-qualified people, just like me, don't have access to anything that can hurt me. And that's what OSHA requires. That's what LNI says we have to do. So now...
So I just got one question.
Yes.
So how is that just a near miss? Because nobody got hurt? Because I mean, there's damage.
Well, they're all incidents in our book. The classification, or would you classify it as an injury?
I don't know. I just don't see it as being on a low level like a near miss, because it's not a near miss. Near miss is I scraped the top of it, not like I broke my precipits.
We don't really, and I fundamentally don't disagree. As far as near misses go, this one is a serious near miss. I mean, we classify all of them as incidents. This was not an observation only. It's not a first aid. It's not an injury. So,
you need something to develop some kind of a procedure around it, like you guys did.
yes. Yeah, Don came up with an outstanding plan as far as notification and pre-thought, locates and all that stuff.
That's
So,
a great idea.
yeah, and corporate safety has that information, and they are going to be implementing that into our excavation policy. Mr. Pontius. Everybody know Ryan? Who does not know Ryan? Mike?
My name's Ryan Pontius.
Just coming off of Chambers Creek up here with the industrial group. I'm filling in for Mr. Grafstrom today. Did everybody get this email I sent out?
Yes.
Everybody bring a picture? Well, put your name on the back of them if you're not in it and pass them forward. Who didn't bring a picture?
Uh-oh.
Justin said it was not till next month.
Huh?
Justin said it was not till next month.
Is it Justin's fault?
Yeah.
The email that was sent out from Nicholas yesterday says that.
No, it says the presentation has been delayed.
Yeah.
I actually had to read through it.
Let's just send in pictures. We all got computers. We all got text messages, cell phones, that stuff like that. You can send the pictures to me. I don't want to volunteer anybody else for this. This is my little pet project. Anybody have any idea why I want to do this? I was at a breakfast the other day, and this topic got brought up, and I had somebody that I respect a whole lot tell me what a stupid idea this was. Why the heck do we need pictures of why we go to work? Well, it's the same reason why the topic got put off from this month to next month, and it's because we're trying to make everybody understand that we're trying to develop a safety culture, not a safety program, not a safety rule book, not a safety nothing. It's a safety culture that we want people to take home, right? You wear safety glasses when you're wearing your weed whacker. You wear earplugs when you're running your weed whacker. You wear long sleeve shirts when you're outside. You're working in the blackberries, or you just let yourself get cut up. You take care of yourself. Why do you believe in safety? That's the message that we got to get across to everybody is why do you do it? So that you can go home every night and do what you enjoy, see the people you love, experience life, right? Do we live to work or do we work to live? That's why. So this is something I want to do, so if you can please send the pictures in, put your names with them. We're going to make a collage. The other one, the reason for this is actually going to tie in. Now we flip-flop safety meetings. Go to the next one. So I had Mike put this together. This is our apprentice incident for the year. 2015, I bet everybody that was around here can remember how bad it was. They were freaking out. A third of the injuries were apprentices, and nowhere near a third of the employees were apprentices. They really hit the bandwagon. They talked about it a lot, and they got it down to 12.5% in 2016. And probably didn't quite beat the drum as much, and now we're at 12.5% again this year. Anybody think we should be hurting apprentices?
No.
Whose fault is it if an apprentice gets hurt?
Journeyman.
The journeyman? Anybody else?
For himself.
Himself.
Himself?
From lack of knowledge.
We got to assume when apprentices are out there, whether they're about to turn out, whether they're the rock star that can run circles around other wiremen, they're still apprentices. They're still learning. They count on us. They count on the field supervisors. They count on their journeymen. They count on the project managers. They count on the execs. They count on everybody to make sure to teach them what's right and wrong, right? I mean, I look down some of these ones, the ones where they were exposed to live shock, I don't get that one at all. Tripping and falling, well, you know, I guess sometimes we got to teach people to walk, right? That's our biggest one out there. So that's where we're at. 704 workers is what the sheet said that I got, and it means 148 of those workers are apprentices. So I think we're doing pretty good there. I'd love to see that number down to 0. I'd love to not be able to hurt any apprentices. Go to the next slide. So you take those two things together. We're a team. Everybody here is on a team whether you like it or not. You got EC on your paycheck. We all work together. We should all be pulling together in the same direction. Okay? Apprentices, I won't say they're the bottom, but they're the least experienced people we've got out there. People in this room are the most experienced people we've got out there. Give or take, right? You've got some outstanding journeymen out there in the field. I get that. So, to be a mentor, who can tell me what they think it means to be a mentor?
think somebody that shares all their knowledge and teach them, puts restrictions within the person that they're trying to mentor and tries to develop a plan which to mentor to their strengths and help develop their weaknesses.
Anybody else got a definition for a mentor?
They're like the coach. Work on the strengths and teach them their weaknesses.
Anybody else? Who doesn't like the word mentor? Does it give you any negative connotation, right? Stuffed shirt, a protege or a mentor, or make you feel insignificant or not as good as the person teaching you. Any negative connotation to it? I guess I'm by myself. So I like what Lynn said. Coach, can a teammate be a mentor?
Sure.
Right? He knows something you don't know. Right? If he knows.
Should use the whole crew.
An experienced and trusted advisor, guide, guru, counselor, consultant.
Very good technical expertise. Now I'll pick on Don. So if you're a young member on a baseball team and you walk up to and you're about to go up against a really good pitcher, and the guy that went before you says, "Hey, watch out for that curveball." Is he a mentor? Not necessarily experienced guidance, nothing. He just saw something that you're about to see, and he's going to give you a heads up on it, right? Nothing negative about it. It's all part of the team pulling in the same direction. Everybody buy into that? You guys are awful quiet. So, mentorship, put all that aside. We're all on a team. We're all pulling in the same direction. Nick?
The only thing I was going to say is, if that guy's saying that to me while I'm going to the plate, he probably struck out or popped out. I'm probably not going to listen to him.
And that explains so much about you, Nick.
Nick the Apprentice.
Does that mean you're going to whiff entirely?
Strike out like he did.
So, example is riding a bicycle, right? It's pretty simple. They got these technical terms up here: your reflective observation, your abstract conceptualization, your concrete experience, your active experimentation. The fact of the matter is you didn't know how to ride a bicycle until somebody taught you how to ride a bicycle. Or you saw somebody ride a bicycle, or whatever, right? It's not something you just walk out, grab a hold of it, jump on and go. Make sense? Somebody's got to teach you. Right? Could be the neighbor kid, could be your dad, could be your grandpa, could be anybody. Anybody can teach you how to ride a bicycle. That's what we're talking about here. The best set of eyes you've got out there when you're working on something is the guy standing next to you. Not yours. You're too close. The guy standing next to you's got the best view of what you're doing. The guy that looked at it, helped you plan on it. Always get input from other people so that you have more than one view of the situation, right? Any other examples you guys can think of? And I know you can do this one, so this one was the easy one. This is the softball thrown at. I'll just start picking people random. What are some things that you don't know how to do until somebody shows you how to do it?
Stop the bike.
Stop the bike? Sure. Charles?
Laundry.
Laundry? You could screw it up, right? But how to sort it, how to put the right colors in the right place. Huh? I think you got pink underwear, but go ahead.
Everything goes together, doesn't it?
Huh? Kenny?
Driving.
Driving? Driving well, anyway, right?
Try taking motorcycle lessons at 60.
Yeah? There you go. You can hop on it, but you're going to get some bumps and bruises. It should be nice. Someone tell you the left one's the clutch and the right one's the brake, right?
A little different than the bicycle.
Don't grab both at the same time. Justin?
Windsurfing.
Windsurfing. Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad nicknamed his windsurfing board Kaploosh because that's the sound he made when he went off the back of it.
One man, that is.
Anybody else? Come on.
Shooting.
I got a great story goes with us, but I don't have time.
No, go
Learning the water ski behind a race boat driver.
Oh, yeah. Driving the boat's an acquired technique and skiing's an
They
acquired.
don't tell you how to turn when you get to the end of the lake, but you swim back if you let go. So think of that one.
Fair enough. Anybody else? Come on, you guys.
Well,
You gotta
our electrical
participate.
trade, operating equipment, mechanicing.
Who know how to measure a breaker before they started the trade?
How about bend conduit?
They don't get to do that anymore.
How many people, you won't raise your hand if you could or couldn't, but how many people could right now go out and bend concentric 90s without looking in a book? Right? That's a lost art. You're going to need a mentor for that one.
Well, it depends on what you want it to wrap around, whether it fit or not. Fit or not.
How big your bone mile's gonna be.
Would you guys want to be a mentor? Who wants to be a mentor?
We are every day.
Who doesn't want to be a mentor? Who doesn't want to have that title put on? We just want to be a good teammate, right?
Well, it comes to, well, a mentor, like I said, if we're agreeing that mentor is the teaching force, the force that brings along the young pups, well, yeah, we're all mentors. It kind of goes along with our title.
It's expected because that's how you were taught. So we need to get back.
All right, let's not get hung up on the word mentor, right? Everybody in this room, I guarantee you, knows something that somebody else doesn't. Everybody in this room knows something that the guy sitting next to you doesn't. Maybe he wants to know what that something is. Maybe he doesn't want to know what that something is. But everybody has their own set of experiences. Nobody in this room is identical to each other. So who should be a mentor?
Everyone.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Every topic?
Depends on the situation.
So, as people that are in a leadership role, or just part of the team, you got to know what you're good at. You got to know what you know. And you got to do some serious self-evaluation on whether you're the most qualified person to tell that other person what to do. Right? The true test, if you're a true teammate, is be able to look that guy in the eye and go, you know what, brother? I don't know either. Let's go get somebody who does.
Or ask them, what do you think?
That's right. Right? Can you admit that you don't know something? If an apprentice walks up to you and says, hey, we're going to go run some concentric 90s over here. Can you come show me? Are you going to tell him, ooh, yeah, we need to go get a book. It's been so while since I've done that math.
You to be sure.
Or would you go like, oh, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Just use MC.
Who should be a mentee?
Who said that?
Who should be a mentee? I changed it to mentee because I didn't like Protege.
Everybody's ears should be open to new ideas. When you get out on a job site, Ryan, one of the biggest things that you can do as an individual is create an environment where creative, independent thinking is looked upon as a positive thing. If you can't do that, you're going to struggle mightily because there's a lot of guys with a lot of good ideas. So sometimes you take two guys with two great ideas and you make one that's even more fantastic than either one of them. And when they're working together, it's mind-boggling because all of a sudden, crew's working pretty slick and we're making more money. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. Come on, every day.
That's right. And not everybody knows everything, right?
That's right.
Well, the fact of the matter is just because you got the title of foreman on you doesn't mean you know everything. Any guy that says that's lying. He's lying, man.
You guys ever had a journeyman on your crew that fantastic worker, but absolutely the wrong person to put in a harness with?
Yeah.
Doesn't make that person a bad person.
No, just don't give them a cut.
So,
That's a great thing to ask when they come on your crew too, right? Not discovered 2 months down the road when all of a sudden it's like they can't get along with somebody. I always ask people that question, do you like working in Cub? And a lot of them will go, one, nobody's ever asked me that before, number one. Number two, no, I don't. Well, perfect. You're not going to get an apprentice. If you can recognize that you don't want to work with them, if that's not your style, why am I going to fight you on it?
And who here got a teaching certificate when they graduated the apprenticeship? Right? They taught us how to bend pipe, pull wire, how to do calculations. They taught us all kinds of great stuff, but they didn't tell us how to teach. Right? The only way you would know how to teach is either you were born with it, you got a knack for it, or you learned it by observation, or you gone to school for it. You shouldn't be faulted if you say, hey, you know what? I just don't really feel comfortable teaching that apprentice what to do. He can help me pull wire because that's a simple tactic, but if we're going to do something complicated, I just don't think I can explain it to him. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? That's self-awareness that, hey, I'm not a good teacher. I'm a great worker, like Roy said, but I just don't got the patience, I don't have the knack for teaching somebody. So what should we teach them? How do we know what the right things are?
That's kind of a day-by-day, task-by-task deal.
Teach them to ask questions.
There you go. And listen to them. Right? You got to have a conversation with that individual. Right? When you tool up with a guy brand new in the field, right? First time you're tooling up, you're shooting the crap. You're saying, oh yeah, wife, kids, blah blah, live there, And, oh, what have you done? Right? That's the most common thing. What was your last job? Right? You're kind of sizing the guy up. How's he going to be for a tool partner? Right? Are you going to take the lead? Am I going to take the lead? What's going on here? Right? We're going to go our separate ways. We're just going to work parallel. You got to have that conversation. Apprentices, journeymen, supervisors, no different. You got to be able to look them in the face, say what you're good at, say what you're not good at, hear them what they're good at, and hear them what they're not good at. If you don't have that two-way communication, and you're just trying to teach them something, they're going to shut down on you. They're not going to listen to you. You got to have open dialogue. You build a relationship with whoever you're working with or who you're working around. Make them part of the team. Make them feel comfortable coming to you if they've got a question. And it's going to be there. It's going to be natural. It's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be easy.
Okay. How about, especially with all these young kids, what about showing up to work on time?
Work ethic.
And work ethic. Those are things, to me, that I think are really important.
So that would be a great non-verbal communication to you that you could pick up on.
Exactly.
If they can't show up to work on time, that would be our responsibility to learn that.
I've already had to do that with 2 different people on this job I'm on. Day one, both.
Brian, another good thing a mentor
Speak up.
develops is observing how a person learns and working with that. Because some people are very hands-on, some are very visual, and if you get a little bit of insight into how your apprentice does things, that'll help in the communication, those kind of things. So
Something as simple as, hey, right? The one thing I always tell people when I first start working with them is, hey, I'm going to give you a whole lot of information. You need to give me some feedback, or I'm just going to keep talking and we're going to be here all day. Right? You got to nod your head. You got to say yes. You got to have something. That's just part of the communication. Right? How do you learn? Well, I never thought about it. Okay. Well, do you want me to tell you how to do it, or do you want to do it? Or do you want to watch me do it? Right? Simple communication. How should we teach them? That goes right along with, I don't think anybody in here has an official teaching degree, right? We're just trying to get the construction job done. Where should we teach them?
How should we teach them? We're going to teach them with our example we set, right?
Absolutely. By example, by instruction. Where should we teach them?
Job.
Never stops.
Anytime possible.
Never stops. If you truly care about the people you're around and you're part of the team and we're all watching each other's backs, then it's all the time. How do we know what's working? This is the one I struggle with.
Give them a task, let them go, and trust that they'll do it.
Pass, fail.
You let them lead on it. let them take the lead.
See how they do?
Yeah. You're there to support, and if they start making too many bad errors, you stop them and you correct them.
Anybody else?
I think you also find out when they start mentoring others, what you've mentored them.
How cool is that when you show somebody something and then you hear them repeat it? And you're like, oh yeah. It's kind of the same thing, but. Anybody else? How would you know that somebody is getting what you're saying?
I always ask them, is it clear as mud as a joke? But I mean, I ask them, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If not, then I try it a different direction to make sure that the information gets to them properly. That goes back to one of the, I think, the IFE meeting before the last one, about the proper communication. I use it as a joke at work, and they love it, but I make it clear, do you understand? If not, let me know, so we can figure out a different way to get it to you so you do understand.
The communication IFE for me, when I did it at Chambers, that was one of the best ones I ever did. I couldn't believe the positive interaction we had back, right? Because
communication creates more mistakes in the construction field than any other separate item, period. Study and prove it. So it's up to us to make sure if it's not given well, it won't be taken right. Repeat, feedback, repetition, and always visit the project as it's going. Don't drop the ball. Give it to somebody. Have them shaking their head up and down the whole time. Wait half a day and go back and find out the rack's 24 inches more exposed to it. So when we communicate with people, we have to use written skills as well. So it's put it in writing, make sure they see it, talk about it, and then go from there. So if there are any other guys here that use sketch logs, sketch logs are key to being able to make sure that information is handed right to people. So you can pull them out, make copies and put them in the field, and keep the originals wherever you want. But they're key.
Yeah, I use the submittals that way. I'll take copies of the submittals and send them out to the field so they can actually see what they're physically working with, the gear what they're working with when it's all said and done.
Just following both of their comments, is like we had that example of the verbal communication at the meeting. When we write something down, we have a tendency to have them write it down. That's not always what we say or how we expect it to be written down. So we've got to be careful there too. If they can get the wrong impression and you write your own notes. And that can totally be two different things.
Perfect example is I say something to Mike, and by the time it goes all the way around the room, gets back to me, it'd be entirely different.
You have them repeat the instructions back to you for clarification. So, everything we kind of subjective. Everybody makes a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. It's when they stop making the same mistake over and over and over. This is when I know that what I'm saying, what I'm teaching is working.
So how many people are feeling this safety topic? Do you think this relates to safety?
It does.
Everybody buy into that? Right? This is a team. I'll give a mentoring minute right now. It's a unique opportunity. It's the first time that I really got to stand up here at any length and look at you guys and talk to you. And the mentoring moment is how many people are staring at the desk, how many people are staring at the wall, how many people are nodding their heads. Right? Mentoring moment, if you're engaged, try to participate. Try to think of something to participate during this meeting so that you can get value out of it too. Right? This isn't a safety meeting for Mike to stand up here, or me to stand up here, or Ryan Grafson to stand up here. The safety topics are designed to instigate conversation. You guys are the leaders. You were chosen to come to this meeting. Let's act like it. So next one. So this is a wheel that Mike and I found, and it kind of addresses the topic that came up a while back of how do people learn. And yep, can you all see it and read it? Would a mentor fit into this wheel? This is kind of an individual thing here, right? It's got the same 4 categories as the other slide had about riding a bicycle, right? How would you fit guidance and mentorship into that wheel? Where would it fit?
Sharing it.
Huh?
Sharing it.
Sharing it?
Sharing those experiences.
There you go. Share that with somebody. And look it up on the internet.
Yeah.
So what I took, my 2 cents, what I took out of looking at that, anytime you got a color break would be a great time for mentorship, right? At the beginning of an activity or the ending of an activity, let them work on it through the middle by themselves. Kind of fits. I think we can all see the benefits of a guiding hand in that wheel. Not everybody knows everything, right? I think there's another slide here. So, I've joined the safety committee, and Roy will probably kill me for this, but I like the safety topics that the corporate office comes up with. But if you guys come up with one that you feel needs to be discussed, you feel passionate about it, throw it out there. There's no reason why you can't squeeze it in with the standard monthly one. This meeting is for you guys to be engaged, to get something out of it, not come and sit in a warm room and drink your water, eat your cookie, visit with your buddy. This is money that's being spent for us to learn something, to come together as a group, to build a team, and take it out to the rest of the people that work in this area. That's what this meeting's for. It's not for somebody to stand up here and preach to be safe. Because I guarantee you everybody in here has the full intentions of going out and being safe. Right? Nobody goes out there to be unsafe. But who's got the best eyes on what you're going to do next? The guy standing next to you. So we got to watch each other's back. Your project manager or your supervisor doesn't review your pre-task plan? You don't discuss what you're going to go do? He doesn't have a fill-in? You guys got anything for me? I appreciate all the input. I give you guys about a B, right? There's probably about a third of you that never raised your hand. I think everybody's made eye contact with me now that I said that. I appreciate that. I'm always open if you guys got anything for me.
I didn't raise my hand because everybody else said what I was about ready to say right before I said it. So,
Right.
So from now on, you just go, amen.
I was going to second. Oh man, I forgot it in the corner. Brad. Brad. I was going to second Brad about 3 different times. So.
Right on.
Yeah, and then when you know you're successful on being a mentor, so when you see your apprentice as a foreman. That's what I was going to say. But it was said like 3 different times.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been in the trade long enough that I had an apprentice come back and be my foreman. So. The other thing that we're going to do is that this is being recorded. I don't know how well it recorded, but we're going to find out. One of the main goals that we want to have, not a goal, what we're going to do here is we're going to have 100% participation with IFE. You're either going to sit in this IFE meeting, you're going to sit in a sanctioned other IFE meeting that's happening in different locations, or you're going to watch that video. We're going to have 100% participation, and we're going to be the only branch, I guarantee you, that's going to have 100% participation this month. That's my commitment, is to make sure that this message gets out to everybody, that the message that we need to convey and the good conversations that happen in here get out to everybody.
Is this something you're going to want the crew to sit and watch on our computer out there?
Currently, the IFE program is designed for supervisors, and the supervisors are to take the message to the rest of the field. Nick, you're up, buddy.
Nick Johnson.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Nick Johnson. I was project manager in the Special Projects Service Division. Roy Hella has tasked me with moving into a purchasing role for the company. You guys heard this a while back. It's been a slow transition, but we're a lot closer, and I believe I'm actually doing it for a lot of you guys right now. The main thing I want you guys to know is I'm on the phone every day right now with our suppliers. And I've got a guy from every supply house that basically is assigned to me when I call there. And they're picking up that phone when I call them, and they're dealing with me personally. Right now I've got every major distributor that we're using. I get a copy of every ticket you guys are doing out there, comes across my desk. And I'm starting to review this stuff and putting together some things that we'll probably train on and talk on later. But the main thing I want you guys to understand is I'm a facilitator for you guys. I work for you guys. The goal is to eventually keep you guys as leaders out of the wholesale houses, out of dealing with the problems that you run into at the wholesale houses, to include return of product, and to have you more focused on building your job and running your projects. That's the ultimate goal. To save money, to save labor, and if you look at it in that regard, that's where we're moving towards, being a facilitator for you, not to babysit, not to get involved. Project managers are still involved in the purchasing process that I'm doing, and I'm CCing them on the things that I'm doing. But just as an example, as this is kind of in its infancy stage, I'm seeing a lot of repetitious purchasing throughout the day for the same jobs. So it's like, for example, you might be going in the morning, getting your stuff, boom, you're hitting the job, and then, oh, I forgot this and this, and someone's swinging back a couple hours later, picking it up. You think about all that running back and forth, sitting around waiting for someone to pull your order. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you times, I mean, just technical services alone has 27 foremen. So if you look at that in the large picture, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here, times 20, 30, times 5 days a week, times 52 weeks, that's a lot of money, adds up quick. And so I encourage you guys to use me as much as possible, because and eventually it's going to be the rule, not the exception. But I'm doing it now just so you're all aware of it. I would encourage you guys, if you want to write my number down now, I give it to you. I'll tell you my cell phone. It's 206-713-1655. It's with me wherever I go.
You can call Nick anytime.
You can call me anytime. I mean, I don't shut my phone off at home until probably 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock.
What's your number again, Nick? I'll write down.
It's 206-713-1655. You know, the goal is that you guys as leaders in the field, and we're all guilty of it, plan ahead, planning a little better, and not being reactive, but being proactive, and sitting down, on whatever that day is, and saying, okay, this is what we got going on for the next several days. This is the products that I'm going to need to make that happen, and engaging me to take that list, go out and shop it out smartly, get those prices in set eventually where you can go and you're still getting the same price. One thing you guys don't realize, and I can tell you this because I was in distribution, don't think for a minute if you go to the counter and you just buy a bunch of stuff from your buddy that you think he's your buddy and he takes care of me. I can guarantee you I can pull invoices right now and show you you're paying 12 to 15% at least more for that counter sale than if I'm dealing with my guy inside on the phone from that same company that's assigned me. Would anybody challenge me on that? Should we have a company-wide, whatever you're working on should be company-wide? If any one of us walks in there, we should get the same deal you get, right?
In theory, yes, and eventually, when I sit down with y'all's, but you're talking about 5,000 different products and asking a distributor to sit there and go in there and manipulate their system. Can it be done? Of course it can. But I guess the short answer is that takes care of the dollar value of the product, but it doesn't take care of the lost labor because your guy or you're in there running around spend an extra 40 minutes in the wholesale house when I could have had that thing sitting waiting on you. And now when you leave the house, instead of making that first stop and give them 30 items to pull, you just ping me on your way in, and then, you know, it's sitting there waiting on you, and then you're just in and out. I mean, those are the small tweaks, but I know you're ready to add something.
Well, no, go ahead.
Yeah. But these jobs we bid nowadays are so competitive, and these leaders can tell you how it is on bid day when they're in there crunching to keep everybody gainfully employed. And it is what it is. We're looking to save labor, we're looking to save dollars, and I'd say, what do you think, Roy? You probably spent $4.5 million last year in commodities.
As a company, closer to 9.
As a company, closer to $9 million. So do the math on 5 to 8%. Now I'm being generous, but do the math on 5 to 8% savings on commodities, and that's not even touching the labor side of it. So, but I'm getting the invoices now. I'm looking at every single one. Every day I get 15, 20 per distributor. And I'm scanning them real quick, kind of seeing what's on there, making sure that, I mean, as I get into this and get back where I was years ago where I know all these guys, some houses do stuff better than others. You know, you're going out for a whole trim package. Well, maybe that's not the right house that you're buying because this guy's consistently giving us that better price. And I don't expect you guys to know that. And I know you guys are comfortable. I know that, you know, that guy that you want to stop in, you know, I get it. And that happens. There's emergencies. You need, hey, I got to go grab this. But not every day just to be hanging out in the wholesale houses, not cognizant of cost. Perfect example, I'll just use an example. Looking through a ticket today, someone bought a 40 rack of water, Costco water, from Stoneway. And Kenny goes to Costco a couple times a month, well, actually whenever he needs to, and buys that for less than half of what we paid for it. I get there's situations, I get, hey, we need this one. But if you can't plan ahead, hey, we're getting low on water, hey, that seems minute, but $4.50 for one line item, 80 cents for another line item, start doing the math. As much product as you guys are installing in a year's time, each one of you, times the company-wide, you'd be amazed at how quick that adds up. And that's bottom dollar right out of our profit, is what it is, because it's labor waste, it's material waste. So anyway, I'll let Roy kind of expound more, but that's kind of where I'm moving into, working for you guys, right? Trying to make your jobs easier, trying to make you guys more efficient in doing what you're paid to do, which is run the projects and get the job done. Make sense? Anybody got any questions of me? None?
No, but if you got people going to the wholesale house multiple times during the week, regardless, if you can't plan the work, then maybe you should be managing the work.
Well, and that's a good point because
Nick, that runs downhill, and every guy in here needs to know that. If you're standing in there with your thumb in your ass, you got 70 guys on a job site, do the math.
Well, and I appreciate that from the field because
every one of these guys should be doing a 2 or 3 week look at it because all your tools and all your materials should come off of that.
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, it should be demanded of all of us.
And eventually, when that switch is 100% flipped, I'm assuming it will be. But you're bringing a valid point up because I can tell you I'll be able to identify real quick here and go to that PM and say, hey, by the way, this is your job. Your guy's been in there 9 times in the last 2 days, and it's all counter business. So trust me, I worked in distribution. I know how long it takes. If you hand me a piece of paper that has 36 line items on it, to enter that ticket and go give to the guy with the gun and go push anything, and that guy's over eating a donut and he's talking to us, I get it. But we're moving away from that. That's going to change, and it's going to cause you guys to think differently, because I will know who's doing it, because I'm telling you, I get every ticket now. Every single one comes across my desk. What you're buying, where you're buying it. We're not using our resources properly to increase our profitability as we move forward. And that's probably basically in a nutshell. But anyway, this isn't a beat up session. I don't want it to sound like a negativity, because I work for you guys. Roy's entrusting me to get involved to make these jobs profitable and keep you guys out of the field, or actually in the field. Yeah. And it's not like to be in trouble. It's just to change your thinking and realize. I can tell you this. Here's for example. Somebody goes in and picks up 10 pairs of gloves, a couple pairs of goggles, this and that. We got Mike, who's set up this thing with National Safety, that's selling us those kind of products at 1/3 of the cost that a normal distributor is, right? How many times as Mike says, National Safety, National Safety? You all got the site, but I'm seeing tons of stuff that should be going to the safety place that we're just letting the distributor buy, and he's putting 30 points on it. You guys don't care because it's not your money. So you guys start thinking about, would I do this if it was my own money? How smart would I be if I looked at a line item, and that one line item is $900 plus on the ticket I'm picking up? I wonder if that's something that Nick could have sourced out and maybe saved 15-20% for that one line item. That's what we want you to start thinking about as leaders out there in the field. I mean, I get it. You go drop 20, 30 bucks because you're on your way and you know you got to take care of something, you forgot something. Those always happen. But to consistently every day plan your day reactively and sitting down and running a wholesale house, those days are going away. And I will be able to identify, like I said, every ticket's coming across my desk now. Your guys' names on every single ticket, because it says who the customer is. I'm not learning the signature. I'll learn all the signatures eventually. That'll take me a while. But that's kind of where it's headed.
I think something that's up. So, Nick is in this position, and what I've asked him to do for sure is to us move to a point where all orders or all material are going to go through Nick and his group. And I've also asked him to track how many times a week a given job is or whatnot is actually making orders. Because not necessarily first off the dollar, but when we talked about mentorship, when you guys remember the first time you were a foreman? Anyone sit down and say, here's how you order material, here's how you plan, here's how you set up your job? It becomes something that gives us indicators that we can go help people. Like Nick said, it's not to beat them up. It is to find out, is somebody having an issue? Can we go help them? Can we get someone out there that can help them plan a little better in their material? The real reason for doing this is not because necessarily we're trying to turn the screws down and get more profit. I'm going to just tell you a quick little thing. I don't know if most of you know this, I'm involved in out of the office almost half the time right now because I'm in Portland dealing with some systems we're building and setting up. Some of it's for this very thing, so we can actually get Nick 100% moving forward and supporting you guys. But one of the things we did is we went to 4 different wholesale houses and had them quote some general commodities. outlets, switches, pipe, boxes. So, who has a guess for spec grade 20 amp receptacle, what the variance of price we got for spec grade 20 amp between vendors and the manufacturers?
$5.
Yeah, the cheapest one we could get, which surprised me by the way, Hubble, because it used to be expensive. Now they're the cheapest, $2.56 a piece. Most expensive one, and this is the quoted price, 2EC, not the trade services price, $17.56. So if we're bidding a job, our bid system has to have an idea of how much we're going to put in to cover our butts for what we're going to buy, right? Well, how many outlets do you think we put in a year? Well, if we're putting it in our estimating system and saying, you know, we're not going to be competitive unless we at least carry maybe $4.50 in our estimating system to do that, and we're buying $12 or $16 outlets, it's not about making the money, first off, it's about improving the profits, it's about protecting what we're already doing, right? That's the job that we have cast Nick with. So, and that's the main reason why most of everything is starting to go through Nick, and our goal is that everything goes through Nick. So that you guys don't have to worry about whether Rayco is cheaper than Hubble or Laconia or excuse me, Leventon is cheaper than the other one. Clearly, your PM should be involved in larger project buyouts. And because they're going to be doing submittals on different products. That's all part of the job turnover and the communication you guys need to have. But we need to have somebody there to make sure that we're getting it and buying it and we're not throwing money out the window. So that's really the biggest thing that why we're moving this way. The only other thing I wanted to add, part of the process that we're doing for the new systems and reports, one thing none of you guys have ever had while you've been in DC, the labor report. A decent labor report. In the next few months, I'm hoping that you guys it'll be done, finished, and you guys will all have labor reports so that you can understand how jobs are budgeted, you can understand what labor has been spent and what's left. And we're going to be putting procedures in for budgets so that it'll be consistent amongst all the jobs. If you're running 3/4 EMT on the 5th floor, we know it's going to be 305-05. So we'll actually be able to make doing time easier and have budgets that we can understand how we're progressing on jobs, and that you guys have the information as well. So that's in the works. Any questions on that? So there will be training, and some of you in here have gotten the key-style training for doing the time electronically on key-style. Those that haven't, there'll be a group of you that will get invited on July 10th, and probably over the next couple of months, different groups of you will be set up for just before or after probably before this IFE meeting to get trained on the electronic timekeeping. Yeah.
How will the foreman get that we can break out later, let me email to him, or they get that through the PM?
Right now, to start with, it'd be a PM, mainly, I'm going to be honest, mainly because our system started with what was the job number and who was the PM. There isn't a database that says this foreman is tied to this project. There's over 3,000 active projects right now. And how many of you have switched from job to job and some other foreman took over or whatever else? So it's a database issue that's going to take time for us to get there. But as we get these done, and our first step will be they're sent out to the PMs who can usually share with their foreman. That's all I had. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt it, Nick, but I did want to make sure you guys understood the real reason why.
Hey guys, and wanted to pigtail on that conversation at the end. We purchase our safety supplies through National Safety. We have a an incredibly low discounted price. Plus all of our internet purchases, we get a 15% discount off of that. So recently, any of you have tried to go and walk into National Safety and say, I need to get this and this and this? Immediately, by just walking in the door, you're costing us 15% more. If you sit in the parking lot and get on your phone and punch it in, we save 15%. The idea is this is an entire internet ordered system, and in theory, you should be able to plan in advance enough for consumable things like gloves and glasses that we shouldn't need just to walk into the store just to buy stuff. So out of convenience sake, once again, that 15% discount is for internet purchases. Anyone who's buying stuff from Stoneway and the rest of those folks, all those invoices are getting kicked back to me. That information is being presented to the project managers that you guys are buying gloves and glasses from a different supplier that end up costing us the order that we saw today. I went and checked, almost 50% difference in price between 2 pairs of gloves and a few pairs of glasses. You paid twice as much for those as what we could have got them from National Safety and had them delivered to you today.
Can you will call the internet order?
Can you? Yeah, you can do will call for pickup there. They'll deliver it to the office. However you want that to work. The ordering piece has to be done on nationalsafetyinc.com. If you have not signed up and you order stuff, it'll send you through the process. Register, email address, make up your own password, and after that, just enter your address information into it, and you're all set. It's just like shopping on Amazon. It's really, really easy. Anything that you want in EC's columns are all great. It's automatic. Anything that you want to get outside of that, if there's a special purchase, like those safety glasses with the foam liners on the inside, all you got to do is go out of the EC site, purchase those. I'll get a notice. It'll say which job it's for and what it is. If I have a question, I'll call the PM. But all that stuff should be fast and easy. I mean, who in here is using National on a regular basis to buy stuff? It's easy. It's incredibly easy. So, and it's saving us a bunch of money.
Do they deliver?
They will deliver. They'll deliver to your house. They will do UPS next day, and UPS next day for us is free. On same day delivery within 60 miles of Kent is free. It's free, and typically, I mean, we have jobs in Seattle where we'll see an order come in at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and by noon they have it on site. Not all the time, but at least guaranteed by the next morning it will be there. So, yeah, it's fast and easy. Next, Kenny. Kenny wants to talk to you about warehouse stuff.
Hey everyone. So wanted to kind of just revisit the tool checkout procedure of sending in your list on the email. When you're ready to demo the job site, request the information of what you have on site. I'll print it off, send it to your email, and you can check the tools that you have versus what we're expecting to get back. So we're not blindsided by, oh, I didn't even know I had that. I've had a few guys request it. It's worked out great. Just came in and helped them clear out their job site faster. They had 3 tools they didn't even know they had. Went out there, found them, cleared off the job site. If anybody needs to revisit how to do the tool request form, let me know. I'll go over with you when you come into the warehouse. If you stop in after hours and nobody's there to assist you, it's got to be emailed to me what you're going to be taking, whether it be ladders or any of the other items that are now off of the floor. That way I can enter it into the tool watch to keep the data correct. Does anybody else have any input as to how we can get the warehouse more efficient or better assist you in making your guys' job sites more productive with our help?
You're perfect, Kenny.
And pre-planning ahead. We're gonna be assisting job sites with stockman on site, so we're gonna be kind of handed in the warehouse. I'd like to make sure we lean towards the Tuesdays and Thursdays for our deliveries, if we can plan ahead on that. Other days, I understand that there's also emergencies or unplanned things that come up. Let us know, we'll try to assist you, but try to get it to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anybody else have anything? Nora? Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy?
Danny, you want to touch base on stuff coming in there without you guys knowing it and how that impacts you and trucks out front?
If you make an order for a delivery, it is best to email me or give me a phone call that a heads up that something is coming, because I am supposed